What's the best advice you've ever received for making a sandwich better?
My dad was a cook around Philly for a while. He would make Italian subs where the meat was used to tuck the lettuce, onion, tomato, cheese into the roll so when you bit it, nothing moved around. By the way, life pro tip, study the food fat guys make for themselves.
Herbs and spices. Oregano, garlic, salt, thyme, or a fresh sprig of dill can make a sandwich better. If you grow any herbs, try throwing them on sandwiches and see what you get. You have an excessive amount anyway, might as well find new uses. For Italian combos, warm the hero bread, use balsamic vinegar instead of red vinegar, throw on some fresh basil leaves over the tomatoes, sprinkle with a good grated Parmesan Reggiano cheese and oregano. Oh yeah, some banana peppers or sweet red peppers is fucking great on top also. If I'm making it at home, I also like to put on real mozzarella instead of provolone sometimes.
Pesto. I work in a sandwich shop. Popular choice with customers is smoked salmon and cream cheese with a little bit of horseradish and gherkins if you like. A lot of people think it's weird until they try it. Easily became one of our best sellers. Cream cheese with sweet chili or sriracha is the one, add a bit of ham and some gherkins and you're golden. Don't put your tomatoes on the bread, it'll make it soggy. Protect with some leaves. Spring onions or jalapenos melted into cheese is such a game changer. If you've got a flavorsome meat like pastrami, it is sometimes worth using a more simpler bread, such as white for the simplest example, so the flavor of the meat is brought out. However, if I were making a pastrami sandwich, I'd use light rye over wholemeal but white bread over granary. To spread your mayo and mustard on the bread better and more evenly, rotate the slice and spread, then rotate again until back to the first. Cut your sandwich into triangles and be gentle, let the knife do the work. Don't put pressure into your sandwich and squish it and tear it apart. Meat on the bottom, then cheese, then salad. Exception when salads go with meat, gherkins, sometimes jalapenos, sauerkraut even. Mustard with meat, mayo with salad. Tomato-based sauces with cheese are great. Tomato relish, ketchup, etc. Swiss cheese with beef. Always. Cinnamon and raisin bagels go well with savory fillings. Tuna and cranberry is very popular. Don't forget to pepper your salads, specifically tomatoes.
Remembering that mayo or another fat like butter or a dressing is a membrane, a barrier to liquids. So if a sandwich has mustard or wet ingredients like tomato or lettuce, the fat barrier keeps the bread from getting wet.
You have to spread the peanut butter to the edges.
When making a sandwich with avocado, don't cut the fruit into slices and place it on the sandwich. Mash up the green stuff and treat it like a spread. Bonus points when you add a shake of salt and pepper. Also, if you're making a BLT, always toast the bread, add a fried egg and avocado. I love a BLEAT.
Putting it on a panini press, it's way better.
In my sleep-deprived state, I read this as making a sandwich feel better and had so many questions. Why are the sandwiches sad? What can I do to make them feel better?
Have someone else make it, if possible. Seriously. There was a study or something, no, I don't have the source, that proved that sandwiches taste better when someone else makes them because you're not smelling all the ingredients and becoming desensitized to them. Or something to that effect.
Put a fried egg on it.
You gotta slather that peanut butter and jelly on there really thick. My drunk uncle.
Lightly toast the bread.
When making a peanut butter and jelly, especially when packing for lunch, spread a light layer of peanut butter on the side the jelly will go on. This prevents the jelly from bleeding through the bread.
Pepper the tomatoes.
I make a lot of grilled sandwiches, and for years I would butter the bread with a knife before putting it in the hot pan. When the butter was cold, that is super annoying to do. And then I realized, WTF, why am I doing this? Just put a pat of butter in the hot pan and as soon as it melts, drop the sandwich on it. It's the same fucking thing without the hassle or risk of tearing your bread up. Also, sprinkle a little garlic powder on the melted butter right before dropping the sandwich in is usually a given. Edit, like 80 people telling me to use mayo. Sure, I'll try that, but can you stop spamming me telling me to use mayo? Wait, that is not a wise thing to say on here, is it? Edit 2, another 80 people telling me to leave my butter out. I do. Usually, but sometimes after using the last of it I forget to set out another stick. Also, my old house had very little counter space, so I kept the butter in the refrigerator just because I wanted the counter as clear as possible.
Toast it or grill it after assembling and before eating.
I never really received it, but learned it over the years. Never let the meat on the sandwich lie flat. Get thin cut slices at the deli, and crumple them up on your sandwich. It makes your sandwich look much larger, but also makes it so that when bite into your sandwich, you are more likely to be tasting the meat. The meat will have a ton more surface area, so more likely to hit your taste receptors. If you don't do this, the meat is essentially compacted together and you don't really get any difference when you bite into 3 slices or 5 slices. Also, if you don't do it, then you are more tempted to load up with too much meat, and wind up throwing off the balance. The one exception to this is probably for Italian-style, sausage-type meats. Those won't generally crumple well. Cut it into triangles instead of rectangles. The first step towards making a great sandwich is starting with a great foundation. Bread is the foundation of a sandwich. Therefore, great bread is the first step towards a great sandwich. If you find bread that you can eat with just a nice smear of butter on it, anything else you throw on it will be great.
Last weekend I made my friend's daughter a PB&J that she said was the best she's ever had. I told her that's because she has terrible parents. They both glared at me. Here's the process. Get 3 slices of white bread out. Put one in the toaster and toast it. Now put jelly, jam, preserves on one side of each of the remaining slices. I prefer strawberry jam, but you do you. Now rinse off the knife. People who do the PB first are just giving themselves a more complicated cleanup. Jam rinses right off. Put a liberal amount of peanut butter on one side of the toast. Approximately 2 to 1 PB to J ratio. Put this on top of one of the jam slices. Put another liberal amount of peanut butter on the other side of the toast. Put the remaining jam slice on top. Boom. Double-decker PB&J with a crunch in the middle and slightly melty peanut butter. Another trick is that you can use natural peanut butter, since there's plenty of sugar in the jam already. Drink milk with it.
As a food production worker, the way I make the sandies are as follow: bread, cheese, 4 slice of meat folded over, ham, turkey, roast beef ECT, 2 slice fresh sliced tomato, green leaf to cover the bread area, place into packaging with a mayo packet and mustard packet label and send it to the store. I also like to talk to the food, telling it how happy they are going to make someone. Get compliments on my work every day, and I just think to self, I just made a flipping sandwich. I went to culinary school to make sandwiches, seriously FML.
Cut it into trapezoids.
Every component of the sandwich should be good enough to eat on its own. Don't be scared, homie. Butter and toast that bread, bagel, English muffin. Add some olive oil to that shredded lettuce. Pinch of salt and pepper on them sliced tomatoes. Add garlic to your mayonnaise. Add mayonnaise to your sandwich. Avocados. What, you wanted to lose weight or something? Oh please. Edit, hot damn. Some Midas motherfucker got me juicy. Thanks for the gold. I'll add my encebollado recipe to this post. Mad love. Lemme hit you with another guy. This shit is gonna spaz you out for real. You listening? Get a small red onion ready and cut that in half. Then cut that shit thin. I dunno if that's against the grain, but what you want is thin halfrings. Film. Put that shit in a bowl. Sprinkle a pinch of some salt, pour some olive oil to get it wet, and then squeeze the juice of a small lime. Mix that shit up. Wait about 30 minutes. The mixture should be pink and wet, I mean juicy baby. It should look vulgar, my bro film. Pee-pee poppin' wheelies film. This is gonna be the game changer for yo ham and cheese sandwich. Peace.
The bread needs to match the filling. Hard bread for hard fillings, and soft bread for soft fillings. Hard bread will squish out a soft filling as you bite it. And soft bread will just mush in your mouth as you bite through thicker and harder fillings. Edit, it's obviously not a hard rule. There are exceptions.
Consider subscribing.